Students, in the previous video lecture, we have learnt about equilibrium condition and few problems related to equilibrium conditions. And in this video session, we will be learning about Newton's third law and examples of Newton's third law and law of conservation of momentum. So to make Newton's third law clear, on the screen it is being displayed few examples. You are able to see the animations which are provided on the screen. In the first example, you have an old man, and that old man is throwing ball in forward direction. As ball is moving in forward direction, the person is going in backward direction. Ball is moving forward. In order to push ball in forward direction, this person is moving in backward direction. Likewise, in the second example, there is a cannon and a shell. In order to fire this shell, the cannon is going in backward direction when the shell is moving in forward direction. The shell is moving in forward direction and the cannon is moving in backward direction. Previously, both are in the rest position. Likewise, in the example 3, you have a rocket. Rocket is initially in rest position. When rocket starts to move, the gases get ejected from the rocket. As the gases eject out from the rocket will be going in upward direction. And in fourth example, we have two people, a person and a woman. The person is pushing woman in backward direction. So both are not exerting force actually initially. Both are in the rest position. Now the person, in order to push the woman in backward direction, person is himself going backward. So when he is exerting some force on the woman is going backward, and along with that, person is also moving in backward direction. In all these four examples, we are able to see one common point. That common point is, initially the person is in the rest position and also the ball is in the rest position. Initial momentum is equal to 0. After pushing the ball in forward direction, ball comes to motion. Ball will have some velocity, that is velocity of the ball. In order to push this ball in forward direction, person is going in backward direction, that is velocity of the person. Now finally, you can write P final is equal to mass of person into velocity of the person plus mass of ball into velocity of the ball, it is minus VB. That is final momentum. Initially, the total momentum of the body is 0. As from law of conservation of momentum, clearly you should understand that initial momentum should be equal to final momentum. So as initial momentum is 0, final momentum should also become 0. Therefore, mass of the person into velocity of the person minus mass of the ball into velocity of the ball is equal to 0. This gives you velocity of the person is equal to mass of the ball divided by mass of the person into velocity of the ball. So velocity of the person depends on velocity of the ball. How faster the ball is moving, that much faster velocity, like the person will be moving in opposite direction to that of the ball. So clearly we are able to see that in this case, initially the net momentum is 0. Two bodies are in the rest position. After the ball is being thrown, two bodies comes to motion. Likewise, in this case also, initially the cannon and the shell both are in the rest position. Therefore, initial momentum is 0. And finally, there will be some momentum gained by cannon and as well as shell. I am considering that velocity of the shell as Vs, velocity of the cannon as Vc. I calculate now momentum of the cannon, which is equal to mass of the cannon and velocity of the cannon. So change in momentum of the cannon is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Final momentum of the cannon is mc vc minus 0. And coming to shell, delta ps is equal to mass of the shell into velocity of the shell minus 0. Clearly you can understand that individually two bodies are in rest position. When the cannon is firing the ball, what is happening here? Both bodies are coming to motion. There is change in momentum individually for the cannon and as well as change in the momentum for the ball. Likewise, here also in the third example, we have rocket and gases. Rocket is coming to motion, gases are being ejected out. Initial momentum is equal to 0. Final momentum is not equal to 0 for the rocket, and final momentum not equal to 0 for gases. Gases are being ejected outward, rocket is going in upward direction. Finally, there is some momentum change in the rocket and as well as momentum change in the gases. Likewise, here also, these two people initially they are in the rest position. So initial momentum is equal to 0, and this initial momentum is sum of momentum of this woman and as well as sum of momentum of the men. So woman and man both are in the rest position. So initial momentum is 0. Once they start to move, person is going in backward direction, woman is going in backward direction. Woman moves with some velocity Vw and person, this man moves with velocity Vm. Overall, there is a change in momentum for the man not equal to 0, and there is a change in momentum for the woman which is not equal to 0. For the man, if it is positive, for the woman it is negative because woman is going in backward direction, man is going in forward direction. So one momentum is positive and the other one momentum change is negative. So these, in all the examples, there is one common point. The common point is that there are two objects. In first example there are two objects, second example there are two objects, third example, fourth example there are two objects. And second point is that all the initial position of all the objects are rest, that means initial momentum is 0. Person is in the rest position, ball is in the rest position. In all those examples, initial momentum is 0. And the finally, when some disturbance is been occurred, both the bodies are coming to motion. Person is coming to motion, ball is coming to motion. Cannon is coming to motion and as well as ball is also coming to motion. Rocket and gases both are coming to motion. Woman and person, man, both are coming to motion. That is one more common point which is observed in all these examples. From these examples, we can clearly understand that whenever the bodies are in rest position, it means that the net force F net on two objects will be equal to 0. And if there is any force acting on one object, the other one also exert force on the first object. So here in the first example, ball is being thrown by the old man. Ball is pushed by the man. Simultaneously, ball is also exerting some force on the old man. Both are coming to motion. Likewise, in the second example, there is cannon. Cannon is applying force. You can see that cannon is applying force on the ball. Ball is moving out. Shell is moving out. Cannon is also moving in backward direction. both are like cannon is applying force on the ball, ball is applying force on the cannon. Simultaneously, in the third example, gases are exerting force on the rocket, rocket is exerting force on the gases. In the fourth example, person is applying force on the woman, woman is applying force on the man. In all these four examples, there are two objects and two objects are in the motion. One object is applying force on the other, vice versa. So therefore, from these four examples, you can clearly understand that definitely if there are two objects initially, if their initial momentum is 0, then definitely there will be F12 which is equal to minus F21, generally defined as action is equal to minus reaction. Action is equal to minus reaction. So the Newton's third law is simply defined as for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. That is what Newton's third law states. So as we know that Newton's third law, there is for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Now let us take one simple example. I am taking a wall. There is a wall and a person is pushing the wall in forward direction. Here is a person. This person is pushing the wall in forward direction. And he is exerting some force on the wall, that is force of person on the wall. And it is in which direction? Right side. According to Newton's second law, when a person is applying force on the wall, definitely it should move. But is it moving? It is not moving. If it is not moving in the sense, the wall will exert same amount of force on the person, that is the force of wall on the person. Now, how many bodies are there? Two bodies. What are those bodies? Person and wall. There are two objects. Person is one and the wall is the other. And how many forces are there? Two forces. What are they? Force of wall on the person and force of person on the wall. Next thing is there are two bodies and these two bodies are acting two forces on two bodies by two bodies. On two bodies by two bodies. See, person is exerting force on the wall, that is first force. Wall is exerting force on the person, that is second force. Two objects are exerting force on two different bodies. Therefore, these two forces which are coming here, you can write simply FWP magnitude is equal to FPW. Magnitude will be remained same, but their direction will be opposite to each other. FWP is equal to minus of FPW. The force acted by the wall on the wall on the person is not equal to force acted by the person on the wall. The directions are different. One is positive and the other one is negative, but they have equal magnitudes. Their magnitudes may be equal. These are the conditions which are applicable for Newton's third law, right? So first condition is that there should be two objects, and second condition is that there should be two forces, and the third condition is that two objects should exert force on two different objects. And this is third condition. And the fourth condition is that the magnitude of forces must be equal and the directions of those forces may be different. The directions will be opposite to each other. That is what action is equal to negative reaction. So these all conditions are to be noted when you are giving any example of Newton's third law. Now let me take one simple example. There is a book on the horizontal surface. This may be a book or this may be a block. Let me consider this as a block. Now as the block is placed on the ground, like it is resting on the ground, clearly there are two forces acting on the book. What are they? One force is in downward direction, that is gravitational force, and the other force which is acting here is normal reaction, that is in upward direction. Okay, this is normal reaction and this is gravitational force. Now clearly gravitational force is acting on the book or block. I'm considering this as block, so consider this as block. Gravitational force is acting on the block. See, first condition, there are two bodies, person and the wall in the first case. Now here there are two bodies. Block is one body, wall is the other body. First condition is satisfied. Coming to the second condition, there should be two forces, and these two forces should be, there are two forces. Of course, there are two forces. One is gravitational force, other one is normal reaction. Second condition is also satisfied. Third condition you check. On two bodies by two bodies. The forces which are acting here should be acted on two bodies by two bodies. On two bodies by two bodies. Now check up these forces. Normal reaction is acting on the block. Gravitational force is also acting on the block. Therefore, in this example, clearly you can tell that gravitational force and normal reaction are acting on single object, single body, that is block. Therefore, this does not form action reaction pairs. Remember this. This does not form action reaction pairs. Most of the people consider that when the block is placed on the surface, action is gravitational force, reaction is normal force, but that is wrong. This does not form Newton's third law, because in order to form Newton's third law, two objects should exert force on two different bodies. Block should exert force on the wall, wall should exert force on the block. But in this example, gravitational force is acting on the block. Likewise, normal reaction is also acting on the block. There is no force acting on the ground. Therefore, two forces are acting on the same block. That is the reason why third condition, on two bodies by two bodies, is not satisfied. Therefore, this does not form Newton's third law. It's not action reaction pair. Hope these conditions are very clear. So first one is that for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Second thing is action and reaction do not act on the same body. They act on different bodies at same instant of time. So as this condition is not satisfied in the block resting on the ground, this does not form Newton's third law. And next condition is action and reaction, known as pair of forces, are equal in magnitude and opposite in directions, that we have already discussed. So as they are in opposite direction, they will not cancel each other. And these two forces are acted on two different bodies by two different bodies. Next, Newton's third law is not applicable to pseudo forces. About pseudo forces we will discuss in next coming video sessions. Pseudo forces is another force, that is imaginary force. I will teach you that in next coming video sessions. Right, these are the conditions for Newton's third law. Now come to limitations of Newton's third law. First limitation is that Newton's third law is not strictly applicable for the interaction between two bodies separated by large distances of order of astronomical units. Earth is here, Earth and Sun, both are separated by large distance. There is an interaction between Earth and Sun. Gravitational force act between those two. Earth will be pulling Sun, Sun will be pulling Earth. So as the separation between those two is very large, you cannot apply Newton's third law in those cases. So first limitation. Second limitation is that it does not apply strictly when the objects move with velocity nearer to that of light. if the objects are in motion and if they are moving with velocity equal to velocity of light, you cannot use Newton's third law in that case. And the other limitation is that it does not apply where the gravitational field is strong. So gravitational field is strong. In that case, Newton's third law is not applicable. These are the three limitations which you need to keep it in your mind when you are considering with Newton's third law. Yeah, we have already learned Newton's first law, which is law of inertia, and Newton's second law, which is law of force, and also Newton's third law, which is law of action and reaction. Using three laws, we can completely explain dynamics of your body. So using these three laws, we can explain complete motion in dynamics. That is the reason why these are called laws of motion. Now it is now our duty to learn about different forces which are acting in our daily life. There are few categories of force, and those forces can be electromagnetic force, gravitational force, contact force, and nuclear force. This is electromagnetic force exert between charged particles. Gravitational force exert between massless objects. Contact forces can be exerted between any two bodies which are in contact. Nuclear force exert between nucleons. And electromagnetic force is non-contact force. Gravitational force is also non-contact force. Nuclear force is also non-contact force. Non-contact force in the sense there need not be any contact between two objects. That you will be learning in class 9th itself. Now coming to contact forces. These contact forces can be again categorized into different types. One is normal reaction, and the other one is tension, and the next one is friction. Normal reaction always will be perpendicular to surfaces which are in contact. Normal reaction is always perpendicular to surfaces which are in contact. Tension arises in strings and springs. Friction opposes relative motion. Friction is also the other kind of force which opposes relative motion. So about each force, about these contact forces, about normal reaction, tension and friction, we will be learning in detail by taking innumerable number of examples and also problems. We will be learning about normal reaction in detail individually, tension in detail individually, friction also in detail individually, and contact force also in between two objects individually. About these all forces, we will be learning individually. And about non-contact forces, you will be learning in the second year. Of course, gravitational force, you will be learning in class 11th itself. But electromagnetic force and nuclear force, you will be discussing in the class 12th syllabus. Yeah. See, normal reaction, it is a force. And that force always act perpendicular to the surfaces which are in contact. So when one body tries to press on the surface of the second body, when the one body is pressing the surface of the second body will exert some force in opposite direction. So therefore, second body will be pushing the first body in opposite direction to that of the first bodies. That force is called normal reaction. Now let me take first example. In the first example, you are able to see a block. This is a block. A block is resting on the ground. What happens now? Ground, like this block is exerting force on the ground, and that force is gravitational force. So block is exerting force on the gravitational, block is exerting force on the ground. This is ground. Now, as gravitational force is acting on the block, it should fall down according to Newton's third law. Sorry, according to Newton's second law. But is this body falling down? No. It means that there is a counterbalancing force in upward direction, and this counterbalancing force is ground exerting force on the block in opposite direction. Therefore, normal reaction is balancing gravitational force. As a result, net force acting in this case is equal to 0. Acceleration is also equal to 0. Body is in the rest position. That is example number 1. Now come to example number 2. You have a ball. This is ball. Ball is resting on the floor. Now when the ball is resting on the floor, there is gravitational force acting upon the ball, which is in downward direction, and that is counterbalanced by normal reaction from the point of contact, and that normal reaction is this. This is normal reaction, and this is gravitational force. Overall, body is in the rest position. Acceleration is equal to 0, and net force is equal to 0. That is example number 2. Now come to example number 3. This is example number 3. A ball is resting on the inclined plane. This is inclined plane. This is inclined plane, and it is inclined by an angle theta. And now observe carefully. Gravitational force acting on the ball is vertically downward. This is gravitational force which is acting, Fg. But according to the definition of normal reaction should be always perpendicular to the point of contact between two surfaces. In this case, this is point of contact. The point which I have marked with blue ink, that is point of contact between ball and the inclined plane. Therefore, the normal reaction will be exerted on the ball by the inclined plane exactly perpendicular to the point of contact. Normal reaction is in this direction. So normal reaction and gravitational force both are not balanced with each other. Therefore, net force is not equal to 0. Body will have some acceleration, and that ball will be rolling in downward direction. That is in the example number 3. Next, coming to example number 4. Observe carefully. Coming to example number 4, the ball, upon this ball, there is gravitational force which is acting in downward direction. Gravitational force is Fg. But gravitational force is acting in downward direction, but is this ball falling down? No, ball is not falling down. If ball is not falling down, it means that there is some counterbalancing force which is balancing the gravitational force, and that is done by normal reaction of this block B1 and of this block B2. Now B1 is in contact with the ball at this position at point P1. B2 is in contact with the ball at this position P2. Now normal reaction is always perpendicular to the surfaces which are in contact. Now at P2, the normal reaction will be in this direction, and at P1, the normal reaction will be in this direction. So you can simply write, this is normal reaction N1, this is normal reaction N2. As the body is in contact with the blocks at two different points, there will be two normal reactions here, N1 and N2. That is in example number 4. Next, coming to example number 5. In example number 5, you have a ladder or you have a rod which is resting on the walls. A rod is resting on the walls, and upon this rod there is gravitational force which is in downward direction, that is Fg. Gravitational force is unavoidable on all the objects. Definitely there is gravitational force. Now upon this rod there is gravitational force which is acting in downward direction, but this rod is not falling down because the gravitational force which is exerted on the rod is counterbalanced by the walls. This is wall 1 and this is wall 2. Wall 1 and wall 2. There are two walls here, wall 1 and wall 2. The first part of the rod is in contact with wall 1. Second part of the rod is in contact with wall 2. Therefore, as there are 2 points of contacts, one point is here and the other point is here, I name this point as P1 and I name this point as P2. There are 2 points on the rod which are in contact with the wall. As we already know that normal reaction will be always perpendicular to the point of contact. So therefore, here I can draw normal reaction from point 1 in this direction. So at point 1 normal reaction is upward, and at point 2 normal reaction is in this direction, exactly perpendicular to the point of contact, right? So these are the two normal reactions. This is normal reaction N1, this is normal reaction N2. The point of contact is here and perpendicular to that is normal N2, and the point of contact is here, perpendicular to the normal, perpendicular to that point of contact is normal N1. N1, N2 are balancing the gravitational force which is acting in downward direction. So from these all examples, we have learned how to locate normal reactions in each and every case.